bring you songs, herbs, and blessings. When you act and speak, you must think of all of your relatives, known and unknown. You must also remember the plants, Delonin, the animals, Enthalogin, and the ancient ones, those that have gone before you, Istipogi. Also, remember me, your holy mother. I bring you also chants and songs. This is your father. This is your uncle. Without them, the plants cannot live. I am the spirit of water. Without it, you cannot live. Look to the sun for knowledge, for he is your father. Things will grow when you learn to harmonize with the sun. The same is true for water. The herbs and plants will rejoice with you, and you will sing with them. You must use ritual water with the right herbs in them. You must use living water, and you must sing to your plants. You must always give them the breath of life. Without rain and sun, you don't have power. Yikchira. Listen to your father and mother, the living water, which is my spirit. The earth is your home. I am giving you medicine. Listen and act carefully. If you don't follow these principles, your knowledge will be taken away from you.
It was a melancholy spectacle as these proud monarchs of the soil were marched off from their native land to a distant country, which to their anticipations presented all the horrors of the infernal regions. There were several who committed suicide rather than endure the sorrows of leaving the spot where rested the bones of their ancestors, preferring the glorious uncertainty of another world to the inglorious misery of being forced to a land of which he knew nothing, but dreaded everything bad. One of this very party of immigrating Indians on his arrival at Montgomery attempted his escape, but when caught and secured in the back of a wagon by some accident, got possession of a very dull knife. And with this, he made several ineffectual efforts to cut his throat. But it not proving sharp enough, he with both hands forced it into his chest above the breastbone. By successive violent thrust, succeeded in dividing the main artery when he bled to death. Similar instances of suicide were very common and served forcibly to exhibit how strong the amor patriae burned in their breasts. With them, their country was life, and without the former, the latter was valueless. To them, how applicable the words of Horace. It is sweet and fitting to die for one's country. A party of 500 who had been held captive and necessarily brought back to Fort Mitchell and sent off in chains. The men were handcuffed two together, and a long chain passed between the double file line connecting them all. Stoical disposition of these forest philosophers was strongly displayed, for neither their physical nor mental sufferings could elicit any indication of any distress, except on occasion an emphatic ta, whenever two of them would pull in opposite directions and jerk one another by the wrist. The women followed, drowned in tears, and giving utterance to most distressing cries. The children joined in from sympathy. They were yet too young to participate in the unenviable feelings of their parents. Jimmy.
drink. In your vision quest, you were always free. No race, age, or gender escapes the struggle or the celebration of bust. The poison spirits of bottle now are clean, head lying eastward, awaiting the dusk. Kind to relatives seen and unseen. For pangs of hunger, Mother Earth had been kind, prayed to 7 directions and fed the fire. Now, you must leave the last dance behind. O warrior, on your westward journey, an older, beloved man you will never be. But at the end of the day, you'll climb to the Milky Way, from where grandfather's sun meets the shining sea.
Babies were snatched from their mother's breasts and sold to speculators. Children were separated from sisters and brothers and never saw each other again. And of course they cry. You think they're not going to cry when being sold like cattle? I could tell you about it all day, but even then you couldn't guess the awfulness of it.
Dear Betsy, I came to the hospital because I was taken down with Billy's fever. I guess you've heard our regiment has moved into Richmond, Virginia. There are nearly 300 of the regiment left in all. There were 10 occult deaths in the regiment. Please excuse my awkward composed letter, for my mind is not composed. I'd be very glad to see you all. Your affectionate husband, Francis MacDay Danley.
Dear Mac, we are all well except Colt. We are most sick with them. All the rest of the family are well. Your papa is well. He was here this morning. All the connection are well and vaccinated so far as I know. Your loving wife until death, Elizabeth Bailey.
Dear wife, I received your kind letter. I take it and read it every day or two. It revives me to hear that you all are well. I had to borrow money from Captain Wood, for I have not drawn my money yet. None of us as ill has received our pay yet. I'll try to send some money as soon as I can. If you have any news, let me have it, for we can not hear more than rumors. We can hear the cannon more or less every day. They fire at each other across the river. I have nothing more at present, only remain your affectionate husband, until death.
Dearest Mac, I received your kind letter, and it gave me great satisfaction to hear that you were well once more, for I was afraid you would turn out before you was able, and now I want to hear from you worse than ever. I heard there had been a great battle fought in Virginia. I can't rest satisfied, for I don't know but what you fell amongst the slain. Some said not to write, but what if you was not slain? It would be some pleasure to you to hear from home. I hope that you may return to your little ones, for they do think so much of you as ever. Down to the baby has not forgot you. They talk all about their pa and want to know how long it will be before he can come home.
Dear Fanny, we've got this far at last after a very tedious journey and hard traveling. I have been sick, though, nearly ever since we departed Albany. Boys, I think, are better reconciled to a soldier's life.
A great many of them, however, are still blue and despondent, have not got weaned from home perfectly, and I have no doubt that that is the cause of some of the sickness.
Our rations this week is better than we've had since we left Albany. We got some cornmeal, very little rice, some coffee, some bacon, Now, I would not have you believe that I have been disposed to grumble at our fare, but you know my weakness for cornbread. I would impress upon your mind my desire that you always let Ma hear from me, as I find it necessary to do all we can to alleviate her sorrows. Right every chance you get.
Give my love to all my relatives and friends. Bless our little children.
Yours in hope, G.W. Cherry.
Dear wife and children, I was sorry to hear that you were so much uneasy about me being killed. I hope you yourself are not troubled about me more than you can help. I hope you will be able, by the help of our Maker, bear your trials and hardships, remembering that our cause is just, and all that can save us from the earthly destruction and degradation.
I'm so sick of being a soldier, unless I could have good health, and unless I do get stout and strong, I'm gonna hire me a substitute, even if I have to sell Delia and Child to get one. For to lie sick in camp, not doing my country nor my family any good, is a condition not enviable and one that I can't bring my mind to consent to.
Are you getting our pigs fat?
You must keep them fat if you expect to make any meat out of them this year.
How are my grape cuttings? Are they alive?
You must treasure your salt, sugar, meat, and molasses, for if this war continues, those articles will be nearly impossible to get.
How are the children? Be sure and write often.
Yours truly, G.W. Cherry.
My ever dear sister, I have no news of very great importance to communicate to you, but I shall endeavor to make this letter as interesting as possible, so I will fill out most of this paper. Do you think it interesting? What do you think the next line will be? Or maybe you'll read all the pretended and interesting EP and find out that none of it is interesting. Your loving brother, Josiah Parsons.
Maddie is learning fast using 4 letters. I don't think you'll regret my sending her to school. She says, buy her some pretty books to read, and to tell Pa she had not got near whipping yet. Sadie says she's got a sweet little kitten, and Jimmy said he saved some biddies for when Pa comes home, and then he killed one for you to eat. The children were proud of their card, you need not doubt it.
Miss Maddie, I have not forgot you. I love you, and you must not be mad at me if I forget to say anything about you in my letters. Well, Mr. Jimmy, you are Pa's man. You will plow for your grandpa. Mind of the calf. And now, Miss Sadie, you are the sweet one. You loves your bearded Pa, but I'm afraid you wouldn't know him if you were to see him now. Well, you must kiss the babes for Pa.
Dear Mac, some say this war will last 10 years, and if it does, there will be many who depart this life with hunger on both sides. Sometimes I feel like I was prepared to meet death. I wouldn't care if I never saw the sunrise again, but I do hope God will bestow his heavenly blessing upon us. For we ask for nothing, only our rights, that which what we would die for.
My dear wife, we don't stay long at any place now. We're expecting a battle every day. The boys are anxious for the fight to come off, and we are well prepared and not afraid to fight. Though we will be obliged to lose a great many men, and it will be a bloody fate if the Yankees do try to take Richmond. We have an army now where there's no danger of being out of provisions unless they take the city.
There is smallpox about here in plenty, but they do all they can to prevent it spreading. The government has authorized its army surgeons to vaccinate its citizens free of charge. I trust you've all been vaccinated, and if you haven't, please tend to it immediately. And Fanny, since you decided to hire Delia out, don't let her come home until all danger of communicating the disease is past. She's fool enough to bring it among us to see her children.
Now that I'm well, if I could see you all, if my little children were playing around my knees, it appears to me that my cup would be full. May a merciful God hasten that time.
Mac, I want you to write to me whether you want shirts sent. I have them ready-made, and I received the clothes you sent safe and sound. Oh, but I never was gladder of a notion that I was of them buttons, for I was getting tired of making rag buttons, and I was afraid of all the big buttons to go in your pants.
Betsy, I have plenty of my old clothes that is good here, and I'd rather not have on but a few at a time, for they are too heavy to carry on march, and I have no way of taking care of them, only what I carry in my knapsack.
My ever dear sister, I have received your letter of very great importance. My satisfaction, it was somewhat lengthier than common, EP. Your last letter contained such good news I cannot help from replying to it immediately. I presume you know what good news I refer to. It is in reference to Molly Senior. you can tell her I accept her proposal. But I guess she was just a joke, or at least she will say she was. But I object to the time. I prefer waiting till the war closes. This way, coming home on furlough don't suit me. I want to stay with my wife when I get her. Pshaw, what nonsense I'm writing. Sister, I believe you have been fooling me. You said that they would grant furloughs to the soldiers to get married. I have never heard such a thing, for if I had, I would have been writing to some young lady long since. I can't see how a man can live a bachelor. The soldier has taught me never to keep a bachelor's home, for he has to do his own cooking and washing and sewing.
I know you would laugh to see me wash, but I doubt whether you could beat me or not. You may wish to know why I don't hire my washing done.
The reason is simply this. It would take $8 per month, and we only get $11 per month for our services. Now, what do you think, as the Dutchman says? Now, what you think, ah?
It is very discouraging to the poor soldier who is enduring all the hardships of war and camp life to know that their families are at home extortioned by those whose interests they're trying to protect. Now, I know that under the present circumstances, you can get the necessaries of life. But how is it that he who gets only $11 a month and left nothing with his family at home to support it when provisions are held by those who hold it at such high prices? Well, it's a shame, a burning shame, and it proves that the patriotism of the South has been overrated.
I think you have done very well with the Negroes. Please attend to my grapevines as well as you can. It is about time or fully time for them to be pruned.
Army is completely rid of the Yankees. It's been a great destruction and loss of life on both sides. We took in some 10,000 prisoners and all counting the wounded. General report is that our losses are 15,000. The Yankees' losses are between 40 and 45,000.
Dear folks at home, some excitement has been produced by the discovery and arrest of a woman soldier.
She has been in the service 2 years and fought in 2 battles. She says her husband was shot down by her side at the Battle of Fishing Creek over a year ago.
It's astonishing that she avoided discovery so long. I went into the guardhouse the other day and saw her. She was playing cards. She could curse with as much ease and grace as any soldier. But she escaped the guardhouse the night before last. I wonder where she'll turn up next.
I wish I was there to go fishing with you. Not for the sake of the fish that we catch, but for the sake of being there with you, my dear sister, and Molly. But, so what do I care for her? You would probably be surprised to hear that I picked up a companion in old Virginia. She is one of the nicest, most prettiest, most industrious, and one of the most accomplished ladies you ever met. And yes, one of the most patriotic girls that ever lives. Sister, you need not say anything to Molly about this. If she writes to me, I'll reply back to her. And if she don't, that's all well and good. You know I don't care, Fig. Oh, you don't need to publish this. I may want to pass off the time with her some future day, maybe. Well, have you found the interesting part of this yet, EP? Let me know if you find it.
WWII, I'm in the enjoyment of the best of health, as is the rest of the company. Bull Roberts and I made the biggest part of the best harmony I ever saw the other day. Tell Maddie I'll send a ring the first chance I get, and Jimmy a knife. I'm nothing more at present, only remain your affectionate husband, until death.
I changed clothes yesterday for the first time since about the 1st of October. You may know that we were as dirty and smutty and lousy a looking set as we could be. But I would just feel first rate today if I just knew you were all doing fine and not suffering for the necessaries. May God bless you all and preserve me to see my little ones become good and happy citizens. But God's will be done.
My dear wife, I hope the day is not far distant when our cause are recognized as just and this war have an end. I am not tired of fighting for our rights and liberties, and when I hear citizens of my country turn deserters from the army, it makes my blood boil. I'll stop that and try to close. Paper's hard to come by and very high price. I am without money, but I hope they'll be paying us some in a short time. Though they've promised to pay us so often and failed, I've almost got out of heart of getting any more to send home, and I know you'll need some after a while.
My dear companion, we have a very nice garden of vegetables in the ground. It is no satisfaction to me, for I never eat none of them, but when I think of you and
just past camp about 20 Yankee prisoners taken at Franklin. I wish I could have gotten to talk to them, but they passed right along in the rain. Poor fellas. They seemed hard times too, and I believe they would willingly get up and let us alone if they could.
I know, Fanny, that your position is a very responsible one. Our little children's character is to be formed by your training. I have implicit confidence in you, and know that if you err at all, it will not be from the heart. And I trust that we will yet sit under our own vine and fig tree.
Everybody that can is getting out of the services because everyone believes that this is going to be a long war. My strong hope is that this is the dark hour that comes just before the day.
Betsy, I want to see you all the time. I know you want to see me, but it's not any use to grieve about each other any more than we can help. Providence has placed us in this condition, and we must trust to that for protection. I hope that you and the children or anybody else will not have to suffer for anything to eat. Let me know about the crops as soon as you can. I remain yours in affection until death.
Mac, most of the wheat crops look as promising as you ever saw in your life at this time. We have a fine season in the ground now, I think. You can have a good season. For most of the women that's got any spunk about them is trying to make a living. Those that never did work are doing nothing still. I want to see you. Need not doubt it, for I can't draw ideas on how you look only when I look at your tintype, which is very often. I sent 6 letters but received 1, but that is the thought in the mail. I remain your loving wife until death.
I haven't got a letter from home in a long time. I'm so sick of war and life away from home and kindred that I find it nearly impossible to keep off the blues and despondency. May God bless you all and speedily terminate this horrid war.
Betsy, I've got some money. I'll send $20 paid for your shoes and nails. I'll also send $2 to buy some candy for the children.
Maddie said, tell Pa she beat Granny learning her letters. She said, send her a ring that she would spell for you if you ever come home.
Tell Maddie her pa's been so busy he couldn't make her a ring just yet. But he will make one the first chance if she'll be a good girl and learn to read to her pa when he gets home. If ever.
Jimmy said he has 10 pigs to feed.
Tell Jimmy he must be a good boy. His pa wants to see him feed his calf and pigs.
You just ought to have been here to hear the children taking on over their candy. Sadie said, Lord of mercy, what a good pa she had, for he brought her candy. She said, if Pa were to come home, she would hug him. She did not care how hairy he was, for he brought her candy.
Tell little Sadie her pa loves her because she is so sweet. She sent him butter and eggs. I must stop writing and fix up my things, for tomorrow's likely a skirmish, so farewell for this time. Give my love to all the family and receive a large portion yourself.
Mac, I hope you'll come clear. For me to think of never seeing your face this morning, it is most more than I can bear to think of. Mac, you don't know how bad I want to see you. I remain as ever yours, Elizabeth Daly.
Dear Fanny, I do hardly know how to answer your appeal for me to procure a substitute. To do so, I'd be forced to resign at least my commission, and to do that, I'd have to state my reason. Well, I can't state my reason without acting the hypocrite.
I do hope that I may never be brought so low as to compromise my honor. I do not mean to say that it is dishonorable to employ a substitute, but I fear that I could not have one received in my place without deception.
I'm as fully anxious to be home, and I know that I'm losing the best part of my life. And I expect that when this war is over, that we will be without everything, except our honor, our energy, and our God. But if we hold all that, we should consider ourselves rich.
Dear ma'am, it is painful to me to have to say to you that your husband was killed in the battle near this place. Our regiment charged the enemy in an open field and we were under heavy fire.
Frank says to me, Swan, we are giving it to the Yankees this time. He was then in the front of the company loading and shooting and saying, come on, boys. It was only a few seconds before he was hit with a mini ball that went through his chest. Your husband fell with all the honor of a soldier and a gentleman. He will be missing in our ranks, for he was highly respected in our company. And not only our company, but by the entire regiment. We all grieve the loss of him, but we have to give him up. When we got the chance to go to your husband, someone had robbed him of what money he had. We buried him as nice as we could under the circumstances. We got a gun box and used it as a coffin. Sergeant Fitz has got his blanket that you sent to him and his hat. You and your family and his dear children have all of my sympathy. Sincerely, Lieutenant WWII Swan.
West Point, Georgia, February 4th, 1863. My dear wife, I received your very welcome letter 2 weeks ago. You must not think hard of me for not answering it sooner. I've been getting Miss Maria to write for me, and Master found out 3 or 4 weeks ago. He told her to stop it at once and not to write anymore for me. That it was just keeping you and me miserable to be writing letters to each other. Well, he said that your Master John would never let you come to see me, and that he never expected to let me go to see you.
That Mobile was too far off for him to ever let me go there. And that he was going to try and persuade me to marry another woman that is living here. And that he wants you to marry another man that is living in Mobile.
Now, I'm just telling you what my master says. It's not what I say. For I can assure you, my dear wife, I have not thought or said anything like that yet. For I have not seen another woman here that I could love since you left me.
And I know there are several colored ladies here that I have been told are in love with me. And I know that I could give either one of them if I wanted them.
But I do not want any of them. I don't think Master or anybody else could persuade me to marry again. Well, I think I'd be a very unhappy man to be married to another woman, and to always be thinking and studying about my dear wife and dear little children that are in Mobile. I do wish, dear wife, that you could persuade Mr. Parham to hire you out here in West Point. There are several families that'd be glad to hire, and would pay a good price for it. And I'm willing to hire you myself and pay your Master John $10 a month and clothe you and the children myself just to have you here with me. For I cannot bear to be separated from you any longer.
I am more unhappy every day. Seems like the longer I am separated from you and my children, the worse off I get. I am more unhappy about you now, dear wife, than I was when you first left me. Master says that if he had moved off and taken me away from you, that he was going to try and let me come and see you sometimes. But as it were the other way, that you were taken away from me. He thinks Master John and Miss Caroline ought to let you come and see me once a year anyhow.
I would always be willing to pay your expenses, here and back, if you'd only come. And I'd always give you a nice dress and some money. Get something for my children, too. You must not think hard of me and think I forgot you, dear wife, if I do not write to you often now. I've been getting Miss Maria to write this letter for me, but Master doesn't know she's writing. He doesn't want her to write any more letters for me.
I cannot think of anything more to write to you now, dear wife. You must kiss Jimmy and little Mary Olivia for me, and tell them their papa would give anything he had in this world to see them both.
If I do take a notion to marry again, my dear wife, I shall write and let you know all about it. I don't think I shall ever take such a notion again directly, though. Not if I always feel like I do now, for I cannot think of another woman. nor love any other but you.
Your
Devoted husband, James
James
Tate.
After the war closed, all the Negroes was busy looking for their own folks. Husbands looking for their wives, wives looking for their husbands, children looking for their parents, parents looking for their children. Things sure were scrambled up in those days.
In the southwestern of March 1st, we published in this column a letter from Charity Thompson of Hawkins, Texas, making an inquiry by the family. She last heard of them in Alabama years ago. The letter, as published in the paper, was read in the First Church, Houston. And in the reading, a well-known member of the church, Mrs. Dibble, burst into tears and cried out, "That's my sister! I have not seen her for 33 years. The mother is still living, and in a few days, the happy family will once more be reunited. Pastors, please read the request published below from your pulpits and report any cases where friends are brought together by means of letters in the Southwestern."
Christian Recorder, November 21st, 1868. Information wanted of my father, Joshua Clark, my mother, Polly Clark, brother Joshua, and sister Kate. In our family, there were 4 daughters and 1 son. I am the oldest daughter. I was sold to Alabama about 13 years ago. Then my father, mother, brother, and sister are living in Richmond, Virginia. Please, if you have any information, send it to Alice Mitchell, care of Reverend Levi Walker, Linville, Clark County, Alabama.
Colored Tennessean. Information wanted of my 2 sons, Sidney and Harrison, who belong to Clinton Cannon, but formerly lived in Shelbyville, Bedford County, Tennessee, and were sold to Goodbar, a trader, and when last heard from were in Montgomery, Alabama. The oldest is about 26 years of age. My name is Sidney, and when they left, I belonged to a man named Elliot. Information of them will be thankfully received by myself or their mother, whose name is Eliza Cannon. Please address Colored Tennessean Box 1150.
Christian Recorder, June 18th, 1870. My mother and I lived in Somalia County, Tennessee. Our mother's name is Sophia Housley. My sister's husband's name is Robert Tolman. They were both sold from Letterman Jail to Huntsville, Alabama, to a man named Brenham. Any information on their whereabouts will be gratefully received by their sister, Mary Housley. They were sold some 20-odd years ago. Address Mrs. Mary Anthony, Lafayette, Indiana, in care of Box 397.
My dear nephew Henry, I am in receipt of your letter bearing the sad, very sad news of the death of your father. My heart shares with you all in this bereavement. To you I would say, grieve not. The God of the fatherless and orphaned is your God, and he will uphold you with his own strong hand. The God is watching over thee. Let not your hearts be troubled, nor let them be afraid.
I was glad to hear that Brother Henry died so happy. It's well with him. He is free from the sins, sorrows, and sufferings of this world. We feel deeply his loss, yet we grieve not as those who have no hope.
You all must try to live in unison, loving and protecting each other. Be kind one toward the other and trust with all your heart in the Lord.
Each member of the family feels in much sympathy for you all. With much love and best wishes for your success in life, we are affectionately your
uncle and aunt,
James
and Olivia Tate, Atlanta, Georgia,
January
1883.
Angels as they tell us that all
If the men should see the women going to the polls to put down their liquor traffic, need it vex their souls. If we're angels as they tell us, can we once suppose that all the men should frown on us when going to the polls?
The attempt to submit an equal suffrage amendment to the vote of the people of Alabama has failed.
I do not wish to criticize the amendment, but if a woman would take it down to reasoning, I'm sure I can convince her against it if she's willing to accept a reasonable argument. But the greatest drawback to the matter of that kind is that they are too sweet and angelic-like to reason.
I'm opposed to statewide suffrage principally because of Negro women voters.
Speaking personally, I think that true women are ruling the world by rocking the cradle, and that true women oppose votes for women.
That is as absurd as saying true women oppose pockets. You're right. The great majority of women do not want pockets. If they did, they would have them.
Because women are expected to carry enough as it is without the additional burden of pockets.
Because it would make distinction between husband and wife as to whose pockets were to be filled.
Because it would destroy man's chivalry towards women if he did not have to carry all of her things in his pockets.
Because men are men and women are women. We must not fly in the face of nature.
Because men have used pockets to carry things like tobacco, pipes, whiskey flasks, chewing gum, and compromising letters. We see no reason to suppose women would use them more wisely.
Because pockets are not a natural right. Come on along, ladies. Let's regroup. We knew this round was going to be a difficult one. Thank you. Thank you. We have that visit to you. Tell me all about it. Will you pour for us? Thank you so much. No.
These legislators pay our arguments no real attention.
Well, they do if you marry one. You know the legislature is how I met Oscar. It was a November day in 1896, and I was on a visit to my Aunt Margaret Newman Fonce's house in Montgomery when I sent Mr. Oscar Richard Hundley an anonymous note to which I penned 3 violets. And you know in the language of flowers, violets means I love him. I wrote, these wee things, these coy things, could say things if they cared, but I told them they must hold them, for I'd scold them if they dared. Lest you feel it, they'll conceal it, nor reveal it to you. They express it. Can't you guess it? I confess it is true. I had seen him sitting in the Senate where he represented the 7th District and, would you say, shamelessly fallen in love with him. And of course, it's a woman's place to be sought, but I'd always believed a woman had just as much of a right to choose a man as a man. Perhaps it was the spirit of coquetry that prompted the unconventionality. The process of elimination, you said flowers, books, and candy to various other girls, and compared their acknowledgments with the written verses. But,
well, that explains why he sent me a book of poetry.
Yes, and Katie Pritchell never heard bad of him after sending the kindest thank you note for a bouquet of flowers.
once he was convinced of my guilt, he replied in prose. 6 weeks later, we were engaged to be married.
I remember addressing stacks of Tiffany invitations, which bade those receiving them to attend the wedding of Miss Vossie O'Brien and Oscar R. Hundley on June 24th, 1897 at 8:30.
Well, the usual excitement that sparks at such a time prevailed in our home, with the prenuptial parties and the incoming out-of-town guests and the opening of presents. Finally, the eventual day came. In a sealed chest, folded in a sheet for many years, lies my wedding dress, with its rich brocade and garniture point lace of orange blossoms. Its tiny bodice was too small for my daughter, even in her slender teens. That high-boned collar, instrument of pure torture, mute evidence of what we will endure for the name of style. Long train, carefully shielded by a lace thing sewn underneath it, known as a dust ruffle. And this lovely gown, a billowy tulle veil caught to my hair, with orange blossoms and a diamond sunburst. Oscar's gift. At midnight, we left Birmingham in a private car for New York, and on the 30th of June, we sailed for Europe.
And the description that I wrote for the newspaper, I remember that I wrote, when the bride is one's sister and oneself the maid of honor, it comes to a very difficult point in the matter when writing up the wedding. And just such one situation One simply grips a bouquet with a certain grim determination to see the thing through. On Thursday evening at 8:30, Miss Bossy O'Brien and Mr. Oscar Richard Huntley were married at the home of the bride's parents. There may have been decorations, but Ryder did not see them. Wait, all brides are beautiful in the newspapers. This one held up the reputation of her kind with becoming dignity. It's not really feasible for all of us to marry legislators, I suppose, and most of them I wouldn't wish on my enemy, much less my dear friends. But finish up the tea, ladies. We have to get back out there. They may think that we're just going to fold up our tents and leave, but we have only begun to fight. That's what I said.
No discharge our Christian women from the war within. At the polls with Gog and Magog must the fight begin. Since revival marching orders needed right our souls, that all the men should frown on us and go into the polls. We love our boys, our household boys, we love our girls as well. The law of love is from above, and that we never rebel.
I got 12% in math because I made one careless mistake. I bought a fountain pen. I don't know why, but I seem to have fallen in love with Roberta McGuire. I felt so funny every time I talked to her. Funny how you fall in love. Went swimming for the first time since Christmas. If I don't learn my history and Latin vocabulary soon, I will fail the final. I can't seem to remember. Went to the Y, to a camp reunion. We wore camp clothes. Loretta McKay went with us. I don't know why, but I seem to have fallen in love with Roberta McGuire and Metro Jordan. Funny, falling in love with the girl. I finished final exams. Only have to go to school 1 hour tomorrow. No school Wednesday. I wish I kept the same Latin teacher. Maybe vocab will be all right. I want to go swimming tomorrow, and I hope I can find someone to go with, as I don't want to go alone. 2 other girls and I sang in front of the Boys and Girls Glee Club. Went to go swimming, but no colored girls allowed. Now if I want to go swimming, I have to go over on Brinister. That's a mean gym. Went to Anne's. She told me at the kissing game they played at Larissa's party. I asked Mother if it was all right to kiss boys at a party, and she said she thought so. So now, if I go to a party and there's boys, and they're playing kissing game, I will play too. Didn't daydream about a lover. I guess that spell is past, but I'm still so anxious to be held in Sydney's arms and kissed. I've never felt so funny in all my life. I guess that's how you feel when you're in love. Gosh, I feel terrible. Mother is so old-fashioned. If she'd only let me walk with boys. There's no harm in it, and all the other girls do. Make me feel so outcast and alone. I don't like my math teacher much. And I hate my class. No one I know. All white except 2 colored boys, and I don't know them. I feel terrible about it. Was in the school contest. They said it came in either 2nd or 3rd. They said they didn't understand one of the judges' ballots, but Mother thinks it's because I'm colored. Well, they told me it came in 2nd. Now if the girl that came in 1st is ill, or something, I get to take her place in the city finals. May get my picture in the Northwest. today. Helped Anne write her graduation announcements. She showed Mother her frame picture, and Mother says she's going to get me one. Went to Anne's graduation. Gee, I felt sad. A lot of kids I know graduated. Went to a party thrown by Harriet's dad and met a swell boy by the name of John there. He likes Ernestine, but she doesn't like him. I think he's swell. Lester asked if he could take Anne and I to the YM tonight. And Mother said yes. Then Emmett showed up too. And gee, Mother didn't like it because I'm not supposed to have company anyway. And I don't like Emmett anyways! Ernestine is so sick. I've been able to see her, and Sydney and Sylvester were there. Had a swell good time. Afterwards, I left with Sydney. Isn't he polite? Oh, say he helped me down the stairs or something. Anne and I started over to Ernestine's and met Sydney on his way to my house. I'm glad he didn't make it, because I'd have hated to tell him to leave. I know Daddy wouldn't have let him in anyways. Well, I'm blue again. Gee, I feel terrible. Oh. Oh. Gosh. It's terrible. The girl I like real well likes the boy I like real well. I like Ernestine, but I like Sydney too. The Talladega Club met here today. Gloucester played his xylophone. Had lots of fun. Went out to Dorothy's. Gee, the Depression sure has hit them. They had to let their radio, dresser, and piano go back. Well, darn it, I'm excited. Mother said I can walk home with boys sometimes, and that they can come here sometimes. The problem is I don't know anyone. Went to Flint with Mother and Daddy. It's a swell little town where the white people live, but I don't like the color section at all. Detroit for me. Had my hair washed today. Stayed home all day. Uncle Will came over. Mr. Revlett told me I'm a good student and that he'll recommend me to college. He gave me a city college catalog. Finals are over and Friday is our last day of school. Mother got a message that Uncle Will is real sick. Uncle Will died this morning at about 4. Gee, I feel terrible for Mother. She isn't able to give him a funeral. Had Uncle Will's funeral today. We couldn't bury him, so the welfare did. Mother was afraid it wasn't going to be nice, but it was. She made a beautiful array of lilacs and tulips, and he got lots of flowers. Well, Diary, I haven't written all summer, but as the school year begins, so will I. Had my first day of school, heard speeches, and had a test. Registered for classes and paid $35 of my own tuition. The total is $71.50. I have lots of hours, but lots of study periods too. 3 days a week. They go from 8 until 4. Gee, my first day of school. Gee, I feel funny. I wonder how I'll like it.
wasn't satisfied with what I said. So here goes again. Now, what I want to say is this. I was very much impressed with your nice letter and wish I could begin to impress you as much in turn. It's very sweet of you to write to me, and, well, I will try my best to return the favor. Now, I wrote you a letter the very day I received a letter from Sister in which she told me about you. If I don't get a letter from you, I will be one sad sailor. I'm also curious to see what you look like, too, and, well, your letter only makes me more curious, so that means I want a snapshot. One sailor said to the other, do you ever catch yourself not thinking about girls? I've been overseas since January 6, 1944, and I've been on this ship since August 25th, 1943. Now, I want you to know that I am crazy about sports and have always enjoyed the Atlanta Journal sports page because it is so thorough. So I was really in heaven with that sports page you sent. I also noticed the pinup girl on the back page. Did you realize it was there? I'm mainly interested in the teams of the Southeastern Conference, although I enjoy keeping up with all of them. Well, Betty, I'll be looking for a letter from you next time mail call comes around, so don't forget. Until next time, sincerely, Byron.
Dear Byron, I'm at Sister Mary's house for roast beef sandwiches, a typical Sunday night supper. I saw a good movie this afternoon. Since you went away with Claudette Colbert, Jennifer Jones, and an all-star cast. If they show it on board, please don't miss it. It's really good, awfully sad, but it really hits home. By the way, do you like movies? Nowadays, shows are my main amusement. I've even gotten to where I enjoy horse operas, especially Roy Rogers, and I can now carry on a decent conversation with my kid sister, who's very well educated in the subject. Sincerely, Betty.
Oh, dear Betty, I received your lovely letter and it raised my morale. I could say I'm squared away. I will attempt to tell you a little bit about myself. You see, I didn't escape the usual childhood diseases, and among them was one chickenpox, which left me with a scar. Now, if you look at the picture I sent you about an inch below the hairline, in the middle of the forehead, you'll see the scar. Now, I've also broken my left leg, my right hand, and dislocated my left wrist, but I'm not 4F to serve. I'm 24 years old at the writing this letter, but in 5 days, I'll be 25. Now, 5 feet 8 inches tall and weigh about 160 pounds. I attended high and grammar school at Auburn and attended college at Alabama Polytechnic Institute with a BS in agriculture engineering. Now, from there, I joined Uncle Sam's Navy and have been here ever since. Sincerely, Byron.
Dear Byron, I quit my job at the National Cotton Compress and Cotton Warehouse Association today. My boss was really shocked, and I couldn't blame him, I guess. When I went to work for him, he told me I would get to make all the trips he had to take for the National. I've never traveled much, so this appealed to me. I went to Washington in June, and since then, the only trips I've made have been from my house down to his house to protect his daughter while he takes the trips with his wife. Well, I want to get this in the post office before it closes, so for now, dear Byron, good night. Sincerely, Betty. P.S. Tech beat Georgia, and I couldn't find an Auburn score to send you. I've enclosed a snapshot.
Dear Betty, I received your nice letter the 7th of November, and I think the picture of you is quite nice. I think I can say without any hesitation that you are a very nice-looking girl. I wish you could understand how much a simple thing like a picture means to me, but, you know, I don't guess it can be described, at least not by me. You know, it's funny how two people can write to each other and become acquainted. It's also funny how or why they enjoy it. What do you think? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about the other officers aboard this ship. There are 7 officers on this ship, and 4 are married and 3 are single. And then there's 52 men on the crew, and that's set up on the LCIG 449. Now, Betty, I wonder if sometime in your leisure, you could have another picture made and send it to me. If you sent me a whole bushel basket of them, you wouldn't hear a single peep, except for gratitude. You see, that's about all these guys do out here is flash pictures of their girls in your face, and well, you'd like to have something flash back at them. I enjoy hearing from you. Things are running smooth. No air raids. Sincerely, Byron. Oh, P.S. Too bad about Georgia getting beat, but at least Tech kept up the good work. I don't think Auburn played a game that week, so that's why you couldn't find the score. Dear Betty. I didn't know you were athletically inclined, but for that I am glad because I am so crazy about sports myself. My roomie is from Akron, Ohio, and he swears that no teams can compare with that of the Midwest. Well, I can usually give him an argument on that score, and I often do. I constantly remind him of the 4 bowl teams that the Southeastern Conference had in 1942. That shows him a little. Oh, Betty, I don't know what Sister told you about me, but I suppose you'll write to me and tell me, and I'll either confirm it or the opposite. I will tell you this, I don't smoke, and I haven't since I was about 10. My dad gave me a whipping at the time, and, well, I didn't forget about it until I knew better. And I have drank in my life, but it was purely for social reasons, and, well, I don't even really approve of it under those circumstances. I guess being athletically inclined has made me this way. You know, it is hard these days to find associations that are not delvers in whiskey. I wish I could express how much I enjoy your letters. I simply love these confidential talks. So I'm all for that suggestion of yours that we make this a regular thing. Sincerely, Byron.
Hello there. If anything of note were to happen around here, I believe people would die from shock. We haven't even had any weddings lately, which is most unusual. Seems that the past 2 years that I've been home, we've had another without hesitating, but on second thought, I guess all of the eligible gals are married and all of the eligible men are gone. Oh, it will be a big change for us when this war is finally over. I hope that day is soon to come. You see, there will be men our age back in circulation, and it will seem really funny to be able to walk down the street and see someone less than 40 and over 16. If they have someone real nice they can write to, maybe it won't be as hard on them as it might seem. Now, that isn't the reason I started writing to you. The only reason I started was because Jane asked me to, but, well, I've kept it up because now I really know you, and it's a pleasure I don't often get to enjoy, and one I wouldn't part with for anything. Unless it were for you to say, let's stop this writing, Betty, old gal. Of course, then I'd consider it, but not until. Sincerely, Betty.
Dear Betty, and I suppose you'll have to be patient with me. I will write to you as often as I can, but, well, there will be times I won't be able to mail the letters. I hope you understand. You see, I've been getting along so well lately that I'm just looking for some sort of a letdown. You know how people have their ups and downs? Well, I'm no exception. But things have been looking up lately. I guess things are looking up all over the world. At least they seem to be. No, Daddy, I don't know. I guess I better get to signing off when I start writing things like that. Don't judge me too harshly. Sincerely, Byron.
Oh, dear Byron, I'm awfully glad my letters are of some help to you. Oh, I hope by now you have a stack of mail from me. Now, I must tell you, I had a sassy message sent to me from a lawyer here yesterday. See, for the longest time, I've wanted to get my name legally changed to Betty Jones. Now, the name on my birth certificate says Mary Elizabeth Jones, but since my high school and college diplomas, Social Security, and checks all say Betty, and since my friends know me as Betty, I thought I'd get it legally changed and forget the other. Mother asked this lawyer how I'd go about getting my name changed. The dope told her the only way he knew was for me to get married. Well, I'm glad I haven't found anyone yet, because if I were an old married gal, well, I couldn't write to you or you to me, now could I? Good night for now, dear Byron. Devotedly, Betty.
Dear Betty, I think the people teasing you about being single are just jealous of your good sense. They know that you could catch somebody just by wiggling your little finger if you wanted to. I'm curious to know just what you really are like, too. Now, you said you couldn't see my face in the picture you have, so I've sent you a close-up of the same. It shows all the features, but, well, I'm afraid there's no animation present. It was taken while I was still in midshipman school. It's a poor picture, but it's all I have. As to my whereabouts, I can tell you that I was in the Marshall Island invasion, but that's about it. You see, if I disclose other places, I also disclose the movements of the ship. I enjoy your letters so much. Love, Byron. P.S. I had not heard about the Tech Georgia game, so it was news to me. But I sure am glad that Tech took Georgia down a peg. I'm sure you know why.
Dear Byron, I'm thinking of you during this holiday season, and I hope there's some form of merriment on the ship for you and the other men. I think you know by now one of my main thoughts is what you really like to be with and all of your little habits, etc.
hot-tempered. It's little, mind you, but it's still there. But I've curbed it to some great extent. We are having the most beautiful moonlit nights now. Last night when it came up, it really looked like a summer moon. It was big and orange and beautiful, but it sure was going to waste. Good night for now, dear Byron. Love, Betty.
Oh, dear Betty, I'm so glad that you're a lover of music and dancing. I like the slow, sweet tunes to dance by, but I also enjoy some swing. Some records that I've heard lately that I particularly enjoy are I'll Remember April by Charlie Spick and All of Me by Count Basie. The last is an old tune, but a particularly good arrangement. Have you heard it lately? Now, I think considering everything that we had a rather nice Christmas. Our Christmas dinner consisted of roast turkey, English peas, canned of course, cream potatoes, plum pudding, sliced bread, butter, Pepsi-Cola, 2 kinds of cake, and canned peaches. Now, after the dinner, I really broke down and celebrated by smoking a big cigar. But it took me the rest of the day and part of the night to get that awful taste out of my mouth. You might not think it, but there was quite a bit of Christmas spirit out here on that blessed day. And although it's nothing I can write about, something is coming off in the not-so-distant future, and you will know about it because there will be a decided letdown at Miracle. Now, Betty, I'm looking for something to send you, and I think I'm going to find it. You see, in this particular area, there are some very lovely shells in which very lovely necklaces are made. The shells have a natural shine or gloss, much like mother of pearl. You see, my plan is to send you the shells and have you make the necklace out of it. The shells have a natural crevice on their back side, and well, you just buy a cheap little chain and arrange the shells however you want. Lay the chain in the crevice and then pour over with some glue or cement. You get the idea? I've enclosed an example. I'm going to send you some just as soon as I find ones that match. Well, I'll close for this time. Love, Byron.
Dear Byron, sometimes I think I'm losing my mind with something. I can't remember whether or not I wrote to you letting you know I got your letter with the shell in it or not, so if I didn't, I want to apologize. See, I've been carrying it around in my pocket ever since, showing everybody what you're going to send me to make a necklace out of. Honestly, Byron, I believe it will be beautiful when I get it all fixed up. It's awfully sweet of you to send them to me, and I'm looking forward to getting them. Thinking of you constantly and devotedly, Betty.
Oh, dear Betty, I received your nice long letter, and it raised my morale about 20 feet higher than the Empire State Building. Well, I must say, I am very much impressed with you, probably more than you seem to be with me. And I do think you can tell a great deal about a person through their letters, and it shows, too. I just can't help but wonder if you share such feelings. And then, I've never really had a girl that I could share confidences with, but so somehow I feel like you're understanding enough to fill that place. And I wish you knew how much I'm wishing for the time when we can actually meet in person. My only hope is that you just don't find me less attractive when we do meet. But until we meet, Betty, I'm going to express myself fully as I feel, and I hope you feel free to do the same. And I'm so glad you like to sing, because that's my middle name. When we get together, you're going to have to sing with me. Oh, I enjoy Bing Crosby and Jenny Sims and Dinah Shore. Bing Crosby can sing anything from Silent Night to Darktown Strutter's Ball, and he makes you like it. Another good one is The Day After Forever. Love, Byron.
Dear Byron, if you only knew how much I'm looking forward to meeting you. And I'm not very good at expressing my thoughts and feelings, but I wish I would have known you my whole life. I feel like I've missed out on an awful lot by just meeting you last October. You see, your friendship is something I cherish, and I hope it lasts for years to come. See, I believe we are two lucky people, at least I know I am, to have such a firm foundation for friendship. Even the best of friends in general don't know that much about each other, but I feel like I know you like my right hand. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is I like you, and I'm terribly glad the feeling is mutual. Thinking of you constantly. Betty.
Dear Betty, you know, it's not so bad out here when you're doing something, but the second you become idle, you start thinking about how long you've been out here. how much you'd like to be home, or somebody you'd particularly like to see. That's when old Brother Despair comes around. But you can do a lot to help matters like that, because, well, you're one of my particulars now, the main one. Betty, Sister wrote to me and said that she intends to invite you over if I ever happen to get a lead. Would you be in favor of that? I certainly would like for you to be there to greet me. No, Betty, you should have more pictures made of yourself as pretty as you are, because they are a source of pleasure for others. The one I have of you is in a picture folder, and I know that if it wasn't in a cellophane case, it would be worn right through. I certainly do have a good time with that picture because other people don't know if you're my wife or what. And I don't always tell them. I hope you don't mind. Love, Byron. P.S. Thinking of me.
Hello there. Oh, I hope you haven't gotten the wrong idea about my letter of January 27th, in which I told you the girls from my bridge club were now calling you Betty's man. Oh, I've worried ever since what sort of person you must think I am. You see, I'd like to explain that Cordele is more or less the worst place in the world for pairing people off. Of course, it's been so long since anyone compared me off with anyone that when they found out I was writing to a Navy man, that was all they needed. I'm going to let the girls have a little fun by calling you my man, so you'll take it for a while, and I won't tell them any different. Besides, Byron, that picture has had a merry time over there with you, and since these gals know better than that I'm married, I'm going to have a little fun on my side by letting them think what they believe. Do you mind too much? Devotedly, Betty.
Dear Betty, I don't need to see you to know how nice you are. Your character is conveyed fully through your letters. Listen, I'm so grateful for the gracious manner in which you've accepted me as your friend and confidant. I've always more or less steered clear of one girl, or steady as they call them back home, but now I'm beginning to see what I might have been missing. I guess every guy's got to have a gal to make things complete. And I enjoyed so much learning about your family. I wish you'd go over and meet the folks sometime. They're always complaining about how lonely their big old house is. Love, Byron.
Dear Byron, nothing of note has happened around here lately. You know, my family is really starting to kid me now. They've just found out that I'm writing you every day, but somehow their kidding doesn't bother me a bit. Maybe when they get to know you as I do, they'll understand why I like you so much. Just remember, you're always in my thoughts and prayers. My love, Betty.
Dear Betty, I've not left for parts unknown yet, but it is getting increasingly difficult to get letters mailed, even more difficult to procure incoming mail. Now, I don't know just yet what my facilities actually are, but I will write to you just as long as it's possible. Now, if I may speak of such things, I have just had a freshwater shower, something that is very rare and has a super priority on the ship, and I feel like a million bugs. I washed my hair, what little I have, and I'm almost as clean as a civilian. When this war is terminated, I'm going to buy me a shower bath and live in it. So I've washed away all the dirt of war. Betty, I must tell you this. In my prayers at night, I speak of you as my girl because I think you mean that much to me. Now my common sense tells me that I'm rushing this far too fast. But you see, I just can't help but like and admire someone who has sacrificed so much of their time and thought as you have for me. And my sister thought we were a good match, or she never would have suggested any such relation. See, I just can't help but wonder if you share such feelings, but keep me wondering, will you? You see, I feel perfectly at home writing to you. I really don't think there is any part of me that I can't express to you. Oh, Betty, if anything I say or have said that is in any way repulsive to you, please let me know. You see, I'm just simply trying to please you, and, well, if I get sentimental, it's just the conditions that we live under here. I hope you understand. Well, most of all, I hope you approve. Love, Byron. P.S. I'm going to write you nice things because I feel like it, see?
My dearest Byron, I have just got C. Yarborough. Do you know him? Honestly, Byron, your letter of the January 27th was one that put me on top of everything. Byron, you wrote to me and asked if I shared your feelings, and asked that I keep you wondering. Well, I don't really see why you'd want to keep wondering, but I'll play along and keep it a secret until you give me the high sign. Byron, don't think for 1 minute that what you said in that letter, or what you said in previous letters, or what you're going to say will ever be repulsive to me. Just much rather you say what's on your mind than beating around the bush. And don't ever apologize for being too sentimental. It's not every day a girl gets a letter as nice as yours, and plus you're talking to just about the biggest sentimentalist in the world. I guess you've gathered that from my previous letters. Now, you've seen the snapshot that I've enclosed. If you'd like, you can cut the cigarette out of the one hand. It was taken before you wrote asking me to stop, and well, I haven't yet, Byron, but I'm seriously considering it, so please don't give up hope now. Freshwater shower must have been a treat. To show you what little I know about what you go through over there, well, I thought you could get a good shower with good water anywhere. Pardon, but what do you use? Salt water? I really did love your P.S. quote. I'm going to write nice things to you because I feel like it, see? Do, Byron. Keep on sending me those nice things, but don't just like and admire me for my sacrifice. It isn't sacrifice when I enjoy writing to you so much, and I really do. It's just these daily chats that we have that I get so much good out of. I guess I better close for now. Mother says it's getting to be after midnight. Good night, dear Byron, and sweet dreams. Betty.
Dear Betty, about your problem of joining the services. Betty, when Sister first wrote to me, she described you thusly. Byron, she's one of the most completely natural people you'll ever meet. And that characteristic has been shown in your letters. Now, I, for one, would like to see you keep that quality. Oh, Betty, here's what I'm trying to say. This is a big, mean old world when you get away from the ones you love. So many people are out for number one, that is that they're greedy and selfish and unscrupulous. And I think you'll see a lot of that if you join the services. Believe me, I've seen women in the service, and there's just no place for women. Now, I'm going to present you with my problem. I'm in the middle of the Pacific, away from all of civilization, and a picture means more to me than food itself. Oh, let me just tell you what I want. 5x7 from the shoulders up, full face tinted, to sit on my desk and look at me while I write to its owner. That would answer my fondest dreams. Betty, I'm afraid to tell you how much I really do like you. I mean, honestly, I think about you constantly, and you're in my conversation a great deal of the time, too. Love, Byron. P.S. Can't say anything. It's just me.
My dearest Byron, what I admire most about you is your complete honesty with me. And I ask you for advice, and you don't beat around the bush. And I'm glad you feel the way that you do about me not going into services. Now, I have before me the order of the day and a 5x7 on the way up. I'm awfully glad you want a picture of me and a surprise. I got my hair cut short. Now last night, Mary and I played bridge with Perry Culpepper and Jimmy. You know, I told you about them. Well, Perry Culpepper is 5 feet, 8 inches tall, so I had him stand beside me so that I'd know how tall you'd be. It's a cinch. Now I can't wear high-heeled shoes, but that doesn't bother me a bit because I prefer low-heeled shoes anyways. And don't worry, Byron, you will still be taller than I. Now I'm 5 feet 7.5 inches tall, but sometimes I feel a mile high. Have you heard I Dream of You? Listen for it. My love, Betty.
Oh, Betty, I really am on top of the world today. Why do you always do and say exactly what I want you to? If you keep this up, I'm going to sprout wings and come see you. Listen, I'm so glad that you asked my opinion on your own welfare. I can hardly stand. Furthermore, I did my best to give a decent and honest answer. And now I'm willing to help you with any problem you have. So send me more, lady. Oh, I'm crazy to see what you look like with your hair cut short. If I may make a comparison, your demeanor reminds me of a one Ingrid Bergman of the movies. And I know it'll be even more so now that you got your hair cut short. She's one of my favorites, by the way. Do you know her by chance? Love Byron.
Dearest Byron, I believe I've had a premonition of something. Oh, I hope I'm getting psychic or something. I was telling Mary last night that I had a feeling you were on your way home. I hope I'm right. How are you, Byron? You know, I can't quite get used to the fact that I'm writing to somebody I've never seen. See, sometimes when I'm writing to you, I have to call halt just to realize that I'm writing to somebody I've never met before. You're so real to me that, well, if anybody tried to tell me that I didn't know you, I'd have to call them what they are because I do know you. You told me once that you felt you could take me into your confidence. That's how I feel about you. You see, I can write to you much easier than I can most of my friends. When I sit down to write to you, the words just automatically begin. Sometimes I wonder if I'll be able to stand it until you come home and see me for the first time. And I guess I'll have to bide my time on that item too. But I will be glad when I finally get that letter saying, be on your way to Auburn, gal. The prodigal is on his way. That really is if you are prodigal. I love you. Betty. P.S. You keep me wondering when you say can't say anything, but just wait. Well, I'm waiting, but my curiosity's getting the better of me.
Dear Betty, in accordance with censorship regulations, I can now tell you a little bit about my past experience. We were in on the Marianas Island invasion and their subsequent capture. We took part in all three operations: Saipan, Guam, and Tinian. Betty, if you stick to conventions, you might find this request silly or unusual, but I can assure you that it is being done by the nicest of people. Now, you spoke of having your hair cut short. Well, I'd like to have a lock of hair, your hair, with some of your favorite perfume attached. There. If you find that ridiculous, if so, disregard. Betty, why don't you and I have an understanding? Never had an understanding with any girl before, but I've heard about it and read about it, and, well, I like the sound of it. Why don't we have it understood that you're my girl, and I'm your boy, guy, beau, or man, or whatever it is. So when a guy speaks of my girl, that is something really special. And for a guy, if you want me, and I must be, because I don't belong to any other girl, then I want to be yours. So you can tell your bridge club whatever you like, and it'll be so. Betty, nothing would make me happier than to have you meet me at the train when I come home. Love, Byron. P.S. I read your letters over and over too, and I have all of them and wouldn't trade them for the world.
Oh, my dearest Byron, I know someone who is very sweet. Maybe you know him too. I received the nicest package in the mail today. It was a little box of candy that came wrapped in blue satin and a little white bow, and is wonderful tasting. Honestly, Byron, it was awfully sweet of you to remember Valentine's Day. Now, I know you had Jane send it, but it was from you, really. Now, I looked for a card to send you for Valentine's Day, but the only ones Cordeal had were ones with comics for children. They didn't really have the words I'd like to say to you on Valentine's Day. Will you accept my picture as a Valentine's present and birthday present all together? Honestly, Byron, I can't tell you enough how sweet it was of you to send me that candy. I've never really gone with anyone before who thought of me enough to remember me on a day like today. It makes me proud to know that there's someone somewhere out there that likes me that much. Sending you all my love, Betty. My dearest Byron, Bing Crosby is on the Dinosaur radio program tonight. Sentimental tunes were beautiful. I can't wait to sing some with you someday. I'll make sure to keep up with the words to all the new songs, so in case you don't know them, I can teach them to you.
I'm right, and that's where you are, then I'm really worried about you. I mean, I'm always worried, but now I'm scared. Let me hear from you as soon as I can, as soon as you can, so I know you're all right. Sending you all my love. Betty. Oh, my dearest Byron, your letter of the 8th of February was one that put me on top of everything. And then your letter on the 11th put me even higher up. Honestly, Byron, if you knew how much good you were doing me, you'd be so proud of yourself. Now, I'm glad that you're happy. I'm writing to you every day. It really is a pleasure, but what makes it more so is that somewhere out there, someone's looking forward to getting them. I feel like I should write my man every night. Since you're so far away, it's the least I can do. And I like the idea of the understanding you'd like for us to have. I'd love to be your girl. In fact, nothing would make me happier than to be Byron Yarbur's girl. Suppose instead of my boy, or guy, beau, or man, I call you my Byron. See, the others have been used so much that they're worn out, but my Byron is new to me and seems to be much better to my way of thinking. And I'm so glad you meant it the way that I interpreted it about meeting your train in Auburn. Oh, I really would feel like your girl and you my Byron. Where are you now, Byron? Keep yourself safe from me now. Oh, and I'm sorry I didn't have a lock of hair to send you, but I'm sending one of my handkerchiefs in its stead. The next time I get my hair cut, I will save a lock for you. You might want to let the handkerchief air out a little bit after being sealed up for so long. Right now I've got a little bit too much perfume on it, but it'll taper off till it's right over. Keep it with you and know I'm always thinking of you. My love, Betty. My dearest Byron, I know a man, my man who is the sweetest person I've ever known. Today I received a little package in the mail. It was postmarked Auburn, Alabama, but I know it came from one certain Navy man way out in the Pacific. Honestly, Byron, these pearls are beautiful. Came in the mail today and I love them. Oh, I feel like it must be my birthday or something since I got such a wonderful present from such a wonderful person. I'm so excited about my pearls, Byron. You'll just have to bear with me for a minute while I rave about you with the pearls. See, I can't tell you enough how much they mean to me because words can't express that much. But I know that they are the most beautiful I've ever gotten. And I will keep them always. I know I've said this before, Byron, but you are the sweetest person I can think of. I've never known anybody before who was as sweet to me as you are. I know that there is not a luckier person in the world than your girl Betty. Oh, I could rave about you all night, Byron, but that might be silly. Didn't we take a chance when we started writing to each other? Now look what we have. One of the most beautiful friendships I've ever known. Byron, are you at Iwo Jima? If so, just say you're right, and then I'll know. Now, I know I've said this before, but I'm awfully worried about you. So you tell Uncle Sam to send you home as soon as you can. Sending you all my love. Betty. Dear Byron, there's been no news from the Navy in the region of Japan, and I've been checking to see if there were any ships your size, but no news has come out yet. I know I've said this before, but I'm awfully worried about you, as anyone should be when they have someone special to them out there. I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you constantly. Wondering where you are, what you're doing, or whether or not you're thinking of me 1/10 as much as I think of you. I believe that you are, and I hope you are. But I don't want you to ever forget that there is a gal named Jones in Georgia, USA, marking off the days until you can come back to the States and see her for the first time and her you. I'm waiting with bated breath until I get your letters again. And I know I'll get them someday soon. And until then, I'm sending you all my love. Betty. Dear Byron, the war news is going good, but the Pacific news is horrible, even though we were the ones winning.
one day you'll tell all about it. That is, if you want to talk about it. Now, I wouldn't doubt that you wouldn't want to talk about it. Most of the men that I've talked to about it who have been over there don't tell much, and I don't ask them about it. But if you ever want to get it off your chest, just let me be on the receiving end of the line. Sometimes I wonder if I'm not getting old before my time. A friend I was talking to last said that on the night that she saw me, she thought I was looking as old as Mary. Now I have to do better because I want to be at my best. Whatever that is, for when you come home and see me for the first time. I worry for fear that you'll be disappointed in your old girl, so don't expect too much from me. I will be awfully glad when your letters start coming in again. I don't feel any too good, and I guess my morale is just too low to speak of. What I need now is a nice long epistle from my Byron. Oh, I really would feel like two new people if I could just start getting your letters again. And I believe that I'll start getting some in a few days, but oh, this waiting. I miss you so much. And this might seem silly to some, but you are my Byron and I am your girl, and that means everything to me. So for now, dear Byron, good night. Always remember that I'm sending you all my love. Betty.
They said wait. Well, I waited. For 100 years I waited. In cotton fields, kitchens, balconies, in bread lines, at back doors, on chain gangs, in stinking colored toilets,
In crowded ghettos, outside of schools and voting booths. And some said later, and some said never. Then a new wind blew, and a new voice rode its wings with quiet urgency, strong, determined, sure.
No, it said. Not never, not later, not even soon. Now, walk. And other voices echoed the freedom words. Walk together, children. Don't get weary. Whispered them.
Sang them,
prayed them,
Shouted them, walk. And I walked the streets of Montgomery until a link in the chain of patient acquiescence broke.
Then again, sit down. And I sat at the Countess of Greensboro.
ride, and I rode the bus for freedom.
Kneel, and I got down on my knees in prayer and faith.
March. And I'll march till the last chain falls singing, we shall overcome.
Now all the dogs are hoses in Birmingham.
Now all the clubs and guns in Selma can turn this tide.
Not all the jails can hide these young black faces from their destiny of manhood,
Of equality.
Of dignity.
of the American dream.
100 years past due. Now.
We speak of a love which is expressed in the Greek word agape. Agape means understanding, redeeming goodwill for all men. It is an overflowing love which is purely spontaneous, unmotivated, groundless, and creative. It is not set in motion by any quality or object of its function. It is a love of God operating in the human heart. It is a love in which the individual seeks not his own good, but the good of his neighbor.
She knew exactly who she was, where she came from, and what her conscience compelled her to do.
Welcome. Can I help you?
Do you have any books on how to feed a horned toad?
That is just the kind of question our reference librarian, Miss Juliet Morgan, loves to try and answer.
Hello, Miss Fisher. How may I help you?
This young man has a question for you.
Where can I find more information on how to feed a horned toad?
Well, that sounds like a dangerous proposition. But I believe you'll find what you need on the 5th aisle to your right near the bottom shelf. Look in the 597s.
Do you have any references about genealogy?
That would be 929, 3rd aisle to your left, bottom shelf.
Hi, do you know what a Republican is? My daddy says I don't need to know because I'll never be one.
There are other opinions and other words for you to discover. Let me help you.
Miss Morgan, I'm here to get a library card. Can you help me?
No, I'm sorry, but I can't.
I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus.
Segregation is an evil that has limited our horizons and dwarfed our souls. Are people really naive enough to believe that other people are happy, grateful to be pushed away and held back and told that they are inferior? They may take it for a long time, but not forever.
Perhaps Miss Morgan would find Harlem a more congenial atmosphere than that of her native Southland. And if so, I'm sure Montgomery would gladly buy her a one-way ticket.
There she goes again. Crazy old maid. Good riddance.
Tall, thin, peculiar.
Guess she's satisfied now.
Good riddance.
Tall, thin, peculiar.
Guess she's satisfied now.
Good riddance.
Tall, thin, peculiar.
Did you walk home again? Yes, Mama, I did. There you go, making a fool of yourself. It's going to be so that no decent white folk in Montgomery have anything to do with us. Nobody is going to do anything different just because you got off a bus. Juliet, I wish you would be somebody other than yourself.
Agape is not a weak, passive love. It is a love in action. Agape is a love seeking to preserve and create community. It is a willingness to sacrifice in the interest of mutuality. It is a willingness to go to any length to preserve and restore community. Agape is a willingness to forgive, not 7 times, but 70 times 7 in order to restore community. Agape does not begin by discriminating between worthy and unworthy people.
All right, let him sit.
Oh, it's fine.
I told you to get up.
No, I will not.
I'll have you arrested.
Just call the police.
Good evening. What seems to be the problem?
This color woman would stand up.
Ma'am, would you please stand up?
I don't think I should.
You know what will happen if you don't.
Why do you treat us like this?
I don't know. Law is the law, and you're under arrest.
You will not be treated like this anymore. You have a good evening, sir. I wasn't any more tired that day from work than I am any other day. I was tired of being treated like this.
Miss Parks,
Mr. Nixon, good of you to come down.
I've just paid your bail and I'll see you home.
Oh, thank you for that.
Rosa, I've got something to ask. You know we missed an opportunity with the arrest of Claudette Colvin several months ago. Your case could be what we need to mount a protest against our treatment on Montgomery's buses.
I'm not so sure about my name tied to something like that.
Miss Parks, think about it. Fred Gray would serve as your attorney. Why did you refuse to give up your seat?
I couldn't take it anymore. All right.
Joanne, it's E.D. Nixon. We've got the right case. Rosa Parks was arrested today for failing to stand for a white man. She was in the middle seating and not occupying a white seat. Her hearing is set for Monday, and we've got Fred Gray representing.
All right. It's time to boycott. While we are demanding humane treatment, we will not ride those buses. I've got volunteers who can make flyers tonight to get out into the community before Monday.
All right, I'll keep calling the ministers. Reverend King, I just bailed Rosa Parks out of jail for refusing to stand for a white man. The time has come. Only through a boycott can we make it clear to the white folks that we will not accept this type of treatment any longer. Dr. King, we've taken this type of thing too long already.
We need to hold a meeting. We can use Holt Street Baptist Church.
This flyer calls for a boycott to take place Monday, December 5th. We need to make as many flyers as possible to get out into the city tonight. I think we can make at least 5,000.
5,000 in one night. Is that even possible?
All things are possible with faith, but faith without action is dead, so let's get to work.
Reverend Abernathy.
Reverend Hubbard.
Reverend Allen.
Dr. Wilson.
Reverend Fields. We are asking for guaranteed courteous treatment by drivers. That we are seated first come, first served, with Negroes seated from the back of the bus towards the front and whites seated from the front towards the back. That all Negro bus operators will be hired for predominantly black routes. Now, we'll have all this information and more at the Holt Street Baptist Church meeting.
E.D. Nixon, who let you in here?
How you doing, Joanne?
There comes a time that people get tired. We are here this evening to say to those that have mistreated us so long that we are tired. Tired of being segregated and humiliated.
Amen.
Tired of being kicked about by the brutal feet of oppression. One of the great glories of democracy is the right to protest for rights. We are protesting for the birthright of justice in the community. Love will be the regulating ideal. We will be guided by the highest principles of law and order. Emphasizing the Christian doctrine of love, we will be guided by the deepest principles of our Christian faith. Love will be the regulating ideal. We must hear the words of Jesus echoing across the centuries.
Love your enemies.
Bless them that curse you and pray for them that despitefully use you.
Amen.
If we fail to do this, our protest will end up as a meaningless drama on the stage of history. In spite of the mistreatment that we have confronted, we must not become bitter and end up by hating our white brothers. As Booker T. Washington said, let no man pull you apart so low to make you hate someone.
Amen.
If we protest courageously, and yet with dignity and Christian love, when the history books are written in future generations, historians will have to pause and say, there lived a great people,
A black people,
who injected new meaning and dignity into a changed civilization. This is our challenge and our overwhelming responsibility.
Amen. All right, first of all, we shall
To the Montgomery Advertiser, Not since the first Battle of the Marne has the taxi been put to as good use as it has this last week in Montgomery. However, the spirit animating our Negro citizens as they ride those taxis or walk from the heart of Cloverdale to Mobile Road has been more like Gandhi than that of the taxicab army that saved Paris. As you remember, Gandhi set out on his salt march from Sabarmati to the sea, about 150 miles, as a boycott against the government's salt monopoly. He vowed that he would not return until India was independent. Depending on their point of view, people laughed, sneered, or shook their heads. But 17 years later, India was free. Passive resistance combined with freedom from hate is a force to be reckoned with. The Negroes of Montgomery's task is greater than Gandhi's, however, for they have greater prejudice to overcome. One feels that history is being made in Montgomery these days, the most important in her career. It is hard to imagine a soul so dead, a heart so hard, a vision so blind and provincial as to not be moved with admiration at the quiet dignity, discipline, and dedication with which the Negroes have conducted their boycott.
Walk with me, Lord. Oh, walk with me.
Walk with me.
Walk with me, Lord. Oh, walk with me.
Walk with me.
As I walk this tedious journey. I need Jesus
Their cause and their conduct filled me with deep sympathy, pride, humanity, and envy. I envy their unity, their good humor, their fortitude, and their willingness to suffer for great Christian and democratic principles, just plain decent treatment. It is interesting to read editorials on the legality of this boycott. They make me think of that famous one that turned America from a tea to a coffee-drinking nation. Come to think of it, one might say that this nation was founded on a boycott. Instead of acting like sullen adolescents whose attitude is make me, we ought to be working to span the gap between segregation and integration to extend public services, schools, libraries, parks, and transportation to Negro citizens. I know there are many people, many Southerners who feel as I do. It's just when it comes to signing their names to something that they back down. Please, Mrs. Fisher.
Juliet, this has to stop. We're receiving daily complaints, threats to the budget of the library, and people are beginning to say that you are a communist and a bad influence on children.
I can sympathize with their fear. I'm suffering the cuts from old friends, the ringing telephone with anonymous voices. I know how it feels when the butterflies in your stomach turn to buzzards.
Juliet, for your own sanity and safety, please stop.
All right, but only because of the threat to the library.
Walk with me. Walk with me.
Walk with me. Walk with me. Walk with me. Walk with me. Walk with me.
Buford Boone with the Tuscaloosa News. Thank you for your personal letter responding to my speech at the White Citizens Council meeting.
That was a very brave thing to do.
Miss Morgan, your voice is an important and unique one, and I want to ask your permission to reprint your letter to me in its entirety.
Mr. Boone, I am flattered, but I have promised certain people that I will no longer publish any of my beliefs.
Miss Morgan, if that is your wish, I will honor it.
Well, I wouldn't say that it was my wish exactly.
Miss Morgan, I ask you again, may I publish this urgent call for action?
Yes. Yes, you can. Dear Publisher Boone, please accept my warmest congratulations and most sincere gratitude for your wise and courageous speech at the White Citizens meeting in Tuscaloosa last Friday. There are many Southerners from various walks of life who know that you are right. They know that what they call our Southern way of life must inevitably change. Many of them are even eager for it to change, but they are afraid to express themselves. So afraid to stand out alone, to walk out naked. Everyone who speaks as you do, who has the faith to do what he believes is right in scorn of the consequences, does great good in preparing the way for a happier and more equitable future for all Americans. You help redeem Alabama's very bad behavior in the eyes of the nation and the world. I had begun to wonder if there were any men in the state, any white men, with any sane evaluation of our situation here in the middle of the 20th century, and most especially with any moral courage to express it. I know men, lawyers, teachers, merchants, librarians, men and women of good sense and goodwill. But so far as standing up and being counted for, well, they were happy for the Hungarian freedom fighters to have all the courage and all the glory. I am ashamed that men and women of good sense and goodwill have let power pass by default into the hands of those like the White Citizens Council. It is time to get on with a job that we have put off far too long. Full citizenship, equal rights, and respect for all people. If the university in its halls of learning has any lesson more important than that, I am unaware of it.
With this statement, Juliet Morgan, controversial employee of the local library, continues her work there, although most of the board want her dismissed due to her interracial views. Members of the board are listed below. Why not write them your feelings in this touchy matter? White Citizens Council States' Rights Advocate.
She knew exactly who she was, where she came from, and what her conscience compelled her to do.
I'm tired. Raymond and me, we can't find work. We can't find solace. We can't find peace. You asked for a face and I gave you a face, my face. And yet you see my tears and you turned your back on me. Suppose it's time I move on. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. The world behind me.
Shame.
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 The world behind me. The cross before.
As mayor of Montgomery, it is within my purview to cut library appropriations. Well, father finally figured out a way to fire Miss Juliet Morgan without violating any civil service law. Library appropriations for next year are cut by exactly the amount of her salary.
Think not that in the king's palace that you will escape any more than all the other Jews. For if you keep your silence at such a time as this, relief and deliverance will rise for the Jews from another quarter. But you and your father's house will perish. And who knows whether you have not come to the kingdom for such a time as this.
Agape is recognition of the fact that all life is interrelated. All of humanity is involved in a single process, and all men are brothers. To the degree that I am harming my brother, no matter what he is doing to me, to that extent, I'm harming myself.
Man against the ants. Fattest termites north of Nogales, oily and stuffed as bulls, gobbing tunnels in the piling of our houses, intricate as veins and spacious as a Roman bath. Listen, in the warm night when honeysuckle throbs its scent away, you can hear Alabama boring and chewing across the Appalachians. And when Luna moths, teased by false light, beat their violet wings on our windows, lovers and fanatics leap from cliffs. Cars, their radios seeping, oh, promise me, into the night, plunge headlong, fireball down Red Mountain Gap. At 1 a.m., the phone rings. A light sprays through the woods. A voice whines. I only wanted to hear another voice speak to me. The line clicks shut. The line pinpoints away. June bugs fall from their windows, whirl their life away upon their backs. Alabama is a cross-eyed child, mooning in upon itself, growing mad on its own fecundity. Wisteria grows so thick on trees, it chokes them and burns them away to tissue skeleton in raw May sun. Fire ants pair carcasses to bone, spool their chorus all night long. Everyone dreams of falling off the world.
away from her mandible grip. Sleep. Simply to sleep. Holding still enough to breathe is what we learn in August.
From cats stretched flat beneath the brown azaleas. From cats and elderly women closed inside their shuttered houses.
Even from the songbirds deep in the hearts of shadowless trees.
The spinning world slows to plague us at noon.
To drive us to rooms that should be dark.
Behind blinds but can never be anything but utterly open.
To what might pass for air, drive us naked to our naked bed.
Air our only blanket now, losing cover forever from our language.
Relying on a miracle of water.
To fill its place, to
fall. Even in the unbearable noon.
A room leaves out.
And greens, pale grasses.
Spring up from boards.
Corners fill, soften with vines, and the muffled sounds of colored birds lift the vacancy of silence.
We feel it fall.
Over the dust on our skin.
Feel our eyes and our hands.
Slide across the flat bones of our faces.
And into our mouths.
Making us a covenant in summer.
Which only those who love can offer.
In seasons of drought, rain.
When I get to be a composer, I'm gonna write me some music about daybreak in Alabama. And I'm gonna put the heartiest songs in it.
Rising out of the ground like a swamp mist and falling from heaven like a soft dew.
I'm gonna put some tall, tall trees in it, and the scent of pine needles,
And the smell of red clay out the rain.
And long red necks.
and poppy-colored faces,
And big brown arms.
and field daisy eyes of black and white, black, white,
Black people.
and I'm gonna put white hands and brown hands,
And brown and yellow hair.
and red clay earth hands in it, touching everyone with kind fingers, and touching each other, natural as dew.
In that dawn of music, when I get to be a composer, and write about daybreak in Alabama.
After you were sad, after our hands veered, dipped to touch the other skin,
Like swallows at dusk over the surface of water. Iridescent. Ecstatic. After we slept close as two wings folded together in the night.
I was happy the next day when you said you'd seen your heart being mended with strong, uneven stitches, a binding thread left as if a silver invisible needle had darted in and out over the torn surface.
Like a dragonfly skims the pond, darns the water with the trail of her eggs.
Like the nymph's skin grows, cracks, expands again until she splits into herself in flight.
Like her many-faceted eye breaks the water in 10,000 glitters, yet holds the world.
Earth to air,
She between.
Cover your arms. Don't let your elbows show. That is what my neighbors down in Alabama tell their daughters, so that no elbow, plump or thin, tan or pink, will entice others to passion. But if I thought my scrawny, two-toned elbows would lure you, if I thought my skinny, sharp-boned elbows could secure you, well, I'd flap my wings like a chicken, like a peafowl, like a guinea hen. The next I saw you, honey, I'd roll up my sleeves and send
could sit and hold hands on the back steps.
The hummingbird would come to feed in the vines of the red trumpet flower.
Hover dance.
Wings, gauze.
Push her white throat into each open bloom.
Fearless and greedy.
Dispute nectar with a walk.
We would drink iced tea and kiss.
We would drink iced tea and kiss.
If I was there, dancing in the kitchen, hum in my ear like the wind outside and the winged maple seeds.
Our hands would mingle, lead us to bed, open curtains, touch breeze stirring cool over our skins.
Under the stars, your quilt.
Our knees together.
We would whirl.
Listen to the wind that we bring into the room to hum to us. As we kiss.
I love the roar of wild March tantrums, snowy surprises, premature blooms.
The taste of April in the mountains. Dogwood petals bleeding scars.
The orange and yellow days of summer, riverbeds dimpled with pearls of polished stones.
Fields glowing in October's amber light. Pastures rolled with rounds of pungent hay.
Frost that kisses tight persimmon flesh and leads her ripe to glory, orange and brown.
I love days when the broom sage sways and smiles, when singing wind redeems the earth with seed, sunrise and the fading of light, as winter folds us safely into rest.
The quilted sleep of Alabama nights, benedictions softly falling in the rain.
I can stand anywhere on Mount Cheehaw. Drink in the crystal air like homemade wine. Stretch out my arms and feel this planet's pulse like my own lifeblood reeling through my veins.